All right. Hello, everyone. It's Nancy Rebecca, and I hadn't expected to do this, but I'm going to be doing a blue light hotspot. We're going to do the focus is on Bosnia, about the galactic waves of light that are coming through, about the blue frequencies of water that is underneath. Very similar. If you did not watch um, the other one that I did on Bulgaria, they have some very similar stories, but I've really been captivated by what I heard were pyramids in Bosnia, because when many years ago in 2017, when the star beings, the galactic beings of light came through, they said that the blue light frequency, what has been hidden will be revealed. What has been hidden will be revealed. They repeated this often. They talked about how the blue light would be coming through the three different pyramids to really activate the blue light on Earth to help raise consciousness and expand in the blue light frequency that was going to dissolve all illusions, illuminate all truth, and bring everything, justice will be served. And that was basically the three messages that always came through. And I remember when the first one was in China, and she in China. If you get a satellite view, it's hard to see because the Chinese government, they were all white pyramids. They've covered them up with dirt and trees. So it looks like it's part of the landscape. In Tehuacan, and just outside of New Mexico City, those were covered and those have been now excavated, and you can visit those, the Sun Pyramid, the Moon Pyramid, and I think the Quetzalcoatl Pyramid. I can't remember what they call them all, and that they are aligned with Orion's belt. I don't know about the Bosnian pyramids because we're bringing Adele Good on. She's going to talk about this. So Adele, we've kind of known each other the last couple of years, lightly, and so I just was friends with her on Facebook, and I've just been following along as she's gone to Bosnia. So Adele, I just want to say welcome, 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 and I'm so you have that adventurous spirit like I have, and I have a sneaking suspicion you're very similar to me in that leap off the cliff, build the plane on the way down kind of person. Um, but I know how my life started, and I know that it's almost unrecognizable from where I was 30 years ago. However, I'm really curious because we have a lot of people who are tuned in. I'm going to call them the intuitive archaeologist as well. Anybody who's tuned in, I want you to really feel she's in Bosnia right now. She's really sitting on a deck that's at the base of the pyramid. So just see if you can feel that frequency that's coming through her, that's radiating through the screen right now. But Adele, can you just give us a little taste of what your life was like before this life came to be?
Well, Nancy, thank you. Thank you for inviting me to do this. I was so excited. It's like, oh, I get to share this on a beautiful platform, and I've loved your work. I've been following you, as you know, for quite a while. Um, Kind of like you, I had kind of a normal life. I was a housewife. I was a mom of two children, and they grew up. My sons grew up, and I had been exploring a bit. My family was pretty adventurous growing up, my childhood family, and we traveled quite a bit. So I had been to Mexico, and I had hiked up Chichen Itza, and I had scuba dove in a deep blue hole, which is very much a sacred area. The cenotes in Mexico, I'd swam in those. So I had been exposed to a lot of this stuff, pretty much off and on for my whole life. And then I had some health issues, like a lot of people. I was 300 pounds.
Oh
I
my
was,
goodness.
yeah, I don't think you knew that. Yeah, 300 pounds on seven medications and or prescribed seven meds. Didn't take them all. It was just too much. And very unhealthy, very unhappy. Got divorced, and my ex-husband and I are now very good friends, which I'm thrilled to be able to say. But I really was in a place of realizing I had something. I had a wake up call, and it was that my diapers were being changed and I was being given sponge baths. That was the life I was being led to. It was a horrific nightmare. And I thought I was in my 40s. I'm 68 now. And I thought, I
Wow.
have no desire to have that type of life. I knew I had work to do on the planet. So I thought I turned that off. So I'm sorry if I think there's some beeping going on my end. Anyway, so I realized that I had to make a difference, make a change. So the only person that can do those things, we can hire coaches, we can hire people to help us, trainers, but they don't put the food in our mouth and they don't make
Yeah.
us take those walks and exercise. So I started just to change my lifestyle and it worked. I released 150 pounds and I've gained some of that back, although I've kept over 100 off for 17 years, I think it's been since 2007. So
Oh, I
uh,
love that
yeah,
story.
pretty fun. So I could never have done these things had I been in that body at all. And one of my exciting claims to fame is I have not taken any type of pain medicine or prescription medicine since 2005, 5 or 6, right in there. So that's
Wow.
pretty cool. So I've totally switched into a very holistic approach. I do energy work and it all goes together. But I had been exploring these sites, and then I met a gentleman named Dr. Sam Monagich. I met Dr. Sam in Dallas. It was one of those things he was talking, and I just had to go. So I went, I was little, it was a standing room only in the back of the room with 400 people. And I waited till
Wow.
everybody left. And I said, I have to come over there. He had made the comment, and I'll share this, that he had found these pyramids and discovered them. He's Bosnian, but he was had a company in Houston. He'd been over here doing some type of survey and he'd seen the pyramids, the pyramid of the sun, and knew what it was. Absolutely. He'd been studying Mayan history. He'd had his doctorate in that, been teaching Mayan history. And he decided he ended up doing a year of research to prove they were real. The sacred geometry, the chambers, there's 7 layers of tunnels and chambers in the big pyramid of the sun. It's much bigger than Egypt, and so is the pyramid of the moon, much bigger than Egypt. So he wanted to prove all that before he said it out loud, which I admire
Wow.
his approach to science. So he was talking in Dallas. With the next month, I flew to Bosnia to do
Oh
it.
my goodness.
Yeah, I couldn't stand, just like you. It's like I got the message. So I came to Bosnia, did a solstice tour with him all around the country. I don't know if you know Michael Tellinger out of South Africa, but
Yes, I do. Yeah. I mean, I
well,
don't know
Michael
him
was here.
personally, but I've read his books. Yes.
Well, he was here, as well as Klaus Donna, who's done a lot of work. So I was meeting all these men, or mostly men, who were scientists that were proving these things that people were not. They were out of the box. Let's put it that way.
Mhm.
And I've been with Michael in South Africa, and I've seen the stone circles and Adam's calendar, and
Oh,
so
wow.
it's very blessed. It's like opened up this whole new world for me. So, basically it started with a health journey, and then I've just kept following it. I will say in 2014, I met Dr. Sam the first time in 2012. I came out here twice after that. And then in 2014, I got one of those little messages in my right ear. I don't know if it was a male voice or a female voice, but I suspect it was the blue ones. I heard, leave the United States. My company was thriving. My health
Wow.
was great. I lived in a gorgeous home. I had a cute little sports car. Everything was just, I was dating a wonderful man. And it was like I had to leave. So 3 months later, I moved here. I sold everything or gave it away and was in
Wow.
Bosnia living, volunteering here. Yeah. Just like you. You do the same thing.
I know. I always say, people, it's like, when that voice came through for me, it was like, sell everything and become portable. And it was like, what does that mean? Sell everything and become portable. And I did. I literally sold, my house. Yvonne sold her house. We got rid of everything, and our whole entire existence was in, like 3 suitcases. And we lived on the road for 5 years. So yeah, so
So,
totally, yeah, but when I hear it from you, it sounds so fantastical, but you're right. I did the same thing. And so at the time, it feels like the most right, the most natural thing to do. And when that voice comes through that you're called, I call it a calling, you are pulled. It's like a magnet. You just know you're going to be held. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. No matter, in my finances, I had some really rocky years where 3 times I had under $100, and it
Yep.
was like, and it was crazy. I would just laugh. I'd look at one time I was in Cambodia. I'd just gotten there. I had no money. I was there doing volunteer work, and I owed my hotel $80, and I had 83 in my bank account. And I just looked and laughed and said, okay, God, let's get out of this one. Because 80, I mean, it was nothing that I had nothing basically to my name, nothing I could touch. I had assets in the States. And, but my credit cards weren't working. And three people came to I was too proud to ask for money or tell anybody. But suddenly three people remembered they had owed me money. Someone sent me a little thank you for a client I'd referred. And I tripled my assets in a few hours. So I've never worried again. It's like, okay, they're just going to, show me how magical it can be.
Well,
And
our
right
lives are
now,
very parallel because I had $50 in my bank account and I thought, I just need to go home. This is ridiculous. No responsible person would be living so irresponsibly. And that was that logical voice. And then I heard that other voice that said, Nancy, if you will just do what you promised you would do before you were born, I will take care of you in ways that you cannot even begin to imagine. And I call it, I felt it in my bones. I was given a free apartment to live in. I was given a car to use for a year when I lived in South Africa. And then people asked me to, do readings or teachings or whatever. And then I just started earning an income. But it was that mind switch. Like I had to trust that and have a lot of faith.
and it's scary. It's just really frightening. And then once you get it, it's fun. It's like, okay, let's see what magic happens this time.
That's right.
And it does.
Oh my God.
It just happens. Because I was in my I was 58 when I left. I left 10 years ago this month or last month, July. And I've lived all over the world on 5 continents. And you're right, I had house sitting things with the car that was included. They paid me, put me up for 7 months, one house sitting. Once was in France for 5 months in the beautiful
Well,
chateau. It's like, you can't
yeah.
make this stuff up.
No, and you talk about being 68 years old. I mean, that's wild. Like who does that, in their seasoned years? But how many trips you're in Bosnia now and how many times have you because you haven't lived in Bosnia this whole time, correct?
Yeah,
But how
yeah.
many times have you come back?
Great question. I came in 14. I'd been here twice in the 12, 14, and then I came back in 2018 for 3 months. And then I came back this year in June for I've been here I'm leaving next Friday, about 3 months. And then I brought a group here of just seven of us, 6 ladies from the States. And they were here for the solstice. So that
Oh,
was
beautiful.
yeah, it was
Beautiful.
wonderful, wonderful.
Beautiful.
Healing. They all experienced healing here and
Yeah.
they got why I love Bosnia. So
Yeah.
yes, I'd say whatever that was, 5 times maybe. And then
Yeah.
I lived in Montenegro and came back. I mean, it was kind of little trips, but basically
Yeah.
I've lived here 3 months periods.
So
And
it
with the
sounds like
visas,
it is a spiritual calling for you. There is some like that sense of that feeling you were put on earth to help spread the word about this. So let me just kind of jump in a little bit because when I do the blue light hotspots, when the blue light beings of light, so of course they wanted me to contact you to do this interview. So the thing about Bosnia, so Bosnia is surrounded by Serbia, Montenegro, and Kosovo. Of course, there's Croatia, Slovenia, the Adriatic Sea. Italy's just on the other side. There was a word, the Herzegovina.
Herzegovina, yes, and that's hard to say. It's Bosnia Herzegovina. I don't say it
Okay.
quite right. Yes,
Okay. All right.
it's that's the southern part of it's I'm not exactly sure why, but it's this different region, but they are one country
Right. Okay.
together.
So then I wanted to know the different peoples that live there. What are the cultural influences? So you had the Bosniaks, which are primarily Muslim. The Serbians are Orthodox Christian. The Croatians are Roman Catholic. So those are that kind of blend of cultures within that country. So then I went to tune in. I always like to tune in intuitively to get information before I start getting more of the facts. So when I went to tune in right away, it was incredibly blue. There was a lot of blue light, almost like a blinding blue light. And the words I hear is the place of the gods. Now, I know you and I have not talked about this yet. So I heard the place of the gods. So then I asked, what gods? Are they Greek gods? Because I know that you're going to be close to Greece. And so I didn't know if they were influenced by the Greek gods. And they said that these are star beings, galactic beings. This is a galactic area. It is a stargate. So I was told it was a stargate. I'm told that things are moved and influenced by the frequencies of sound, so galactic frequencies of sound. There is currently an enormous blue light beam, laser beam of light that's coming in right in almost like the middle of the pyramids. I'm told that there's a cluster of mountains around, and within that cluster, there are vortexes and ley lines and portals. Now, when I think of a cluster, I think of like a cluster of grapes. So this is the first time when I've been tuning into countries or the area. Now, of course, this gateway, Stargate, cluster of vortexes and ley lines, definitely a PowerPoint. And then I wrote pre-pyramid. So all of this existed. Now, now, I know that Bosnia has its borders, just like Bulgaria has its borders, Croatia has its borders. Yeah, no, during that time that it happened here on Earth, this was, it's so far out there for me, as this nurse, but the information I was getting was it was a galactic community. So when I say galactic, it was a galactic civilization that came because of the high frequency of this area and the cluster of the vortexes and the ley lines. So, so then it was like, so the pyramids were built to take advantage of the PowerPoint that was already there to amplify it. So I find it fascinating now. It's just a regular country in the 3D world. And what is the name of the little town that's here in this?
Visoko. Visoko. V as in Victor, Isoko.
Visico,
Bosnia.
Visico.
Visoko.
And
Visoko, they say it different ways.
right.
About a half
So,
hour from Sarajevo, just to give you a little more. Sarajevo is
oh,
the
okay.
capital. So it's
Oh,
only half
okay.
an hour from the main airport in the
Okay.
country.
Awesome. So I did get and there was a lot of water. Now this came up in Bulgaria, blue, like this unlimited sense of water. And I know that you're going to talk about that. So then I wanted to look it up because I remember the first time I heard about this, I was like, what? Pyramids in Bosnia? Now, again, the blue beings of light said, we're going so many pyramids are going to be revealed. So many are going to be revealed in the world. So I looked it up. And in 2005, so you're going to talk about Dr. Sam. What I love about his last name is it ends up being magic. It's like the almost spells the word magic. But anyway, it said it's a pseudo archaeological theory. And so back in 2005, it's like, okay, here's this guy. It's a pseudo archaeological theory. And it claims to be the largest pyramids in the world. And it does say, I think, online when I looked it up, that it was believed to be 34,000 years old or
Mhm.
older. I'm also the word Illyrians. So have you heard of that word? So that
Yes.
it was the Illyrians that established this. So maybe you can explain that a little bit. And that there are waves of intergalactic communication, and ancient astronauts came to this area, which I call the galactic community. But that's from his material. That's from his information. You call him Dr. Sam. I'll stick with that. So that came after I got the information intuitively that it is a place of the gods and it's a stargate. All right, so that's enough of me. So you've got a few pictures to share with us.
I do.
And
I love to share pictures.
I will just let everybody know Adele has a website, adelegood.com. And we will put the link in. The link is here below. She's also sharing a link because Dr. Sam has offered to share 13 of his books in PDF form for free in English, because most of them are not in English. And you said they're sold there in Bosnia for like $30 each. But what a gift. Is he serious? He's offering for free? Does he allow like donations to his work or
Uh,
something? If people
Thank you for asking. Yes, absolutely. The whole organization here is a foundation. He realized the best way to create what he's done was to make a foundation. So that would be fabulous.
Okay, so we
And I
will
should say they're
include
20 to
that.
$30 a piece. I did say there, yeah. But yes, that would be lovely to put the foundation link for donations.
Okay, awesome,
And I
awesome.
have to be honest, I didn't exactly ask him if I could share it for this event, but he's given me permission in the past to share it. So I just figured, I saw him this morning and I didn't think to ask him, but he'll be fine with it. It's hard to get them in English right now in the States. So,
Okay, well, you just let me know if we need to release this and not put the
oh,
link in. I'm happy to
yes,
not do that. And I know that
yes,
everyone will understand. So,
yes.
all right, show us some pictures.
Okay, thank you so much, Nancy. Well, let me show that link here. This is the pyramid I am living on. Oh, I just moved it. Oh, no, I didn't. I've got to share it. We were all set and then I just moved it. There we go. Can you see that, Nancy?
Yes, and you said that's the
Okay.
pyramid that you are staying on, and it's the pyramid
Yes.
of
The sun.
the
This
sun.
is the largest pyramid on Earth, and I'll show you the statistics in a minute. But it looks like it's this big. You can see, right? It looks like that. It actually goes all the way down to the river. And I don't
Wow.
think the measurement that I'm going to share includes it all the way down to the river, but because it's way bigger than Egypt, even if you cut it off here. So my house that I'm in right now, I'm renting a house, is in this area. It's right in
Wow.
that area right there. And it's definitely on the base of the pyramid, which is phenomenal. And the energy here, I told Dr. Sam the other day, I don't want to leave. It's like I just want to stay here. And I have this beautiful balcony, and behind me is the valley and the town. I just don't want to leave because it's just energetically, it really resonates with me, probably
Beautiful.
because of what you spoke about. So
Yeah.
this is a photo that I did something wrong here. I'm sorry. I thought we had it all worked out. Okay. This is a graphics of the different pyramids. Here we have the pyramid of the sun, the biggest pyramid of the moon, which I'm on the pyramid of the sun. I'm on the north face. Then there's the pyramid of the moon, which is right down there. You can't see it. Oh, it looks stunning here right now. Oh, you can't see. The sun
Oh,
is
there's a
just too bright.
rainbow.
Oh my gosh. Oh, look
It's
at
a
that.
double rainbow.
It is.
Oh my
You
God.
no accidents, Nancy. Oh my gosh. It's beautiful. It's
Oh my.
vibrant. Yeah, how funny is that? I have a photo of a rainbow I was going to show y'all later, but thank you for seeing that. I can't see very well on the screen. So it's a magical place. I call it my magical Bosnia. So there's the Pyramid of the Moon, then there's the Temple of Mother Earth, and then there's the Pyramid of the Dragon, and then there's the Pyramid of Love. And those are all supporting structures. They're all connected with sacred geometry. It's crazy. The flower of life is involved. It's
The
phenomenal, the
Fibonacci,
research.
the Fibonacci's involved, ley
Yeah,
lines, vortexes. You're going to show more of that.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Yes. So the Pyramid of the Sun here is 722 feet tall. Pyramid of the Sun in Mexico is Teotihuacan and it's 210 feet. And the Great Pyramid of Egypt is 450 feet. So this one
Wow.
is much bigger than that, which
Wow.
is phenomenal. And what you and I were chatting about before, it's phenomenal that these are being denied as being real. And if anyone
Correct.
out there that you Google Bosnian pyramids, are they real? 95% of everything you're going to find is going to say they're not real. So that's why I think that's part of my whole mission, is to share that they are not only real, they are a powerful place and a beautiful, amazing place. So
Wow.
this is the link to Dr. Sam's books, and I am absolutely sure he'll be fine with it. It's www.booksbydrsam.com. Very simple link. And there's 13 free books on there. Those are the English versions. He's got them in many languages. He's been writing for I don't know how many years. He has one on the Anastasi in at Four
Wow.
Corners. He has a lot on Mayan history. My favorite for beginners that have never seen his work is The Pyramids of the World. And he just talks about, kind of sets a baseline. It's an older book, but it's one of my favorites.
Oh, thank
This is
you.
Oh, my pleasure. On my website, I have put, there's a 4-minute video that Dr. Sam did with me in August, just a few weeks back. And it says, he's talking about the 10 healing properties of Bosnian pyramids. And what he says is, we can't say, as in wellness, that the pyramids heal anything or that the tunnel systems heal, but the testimonials sure do. And all the proof. The
Wow.
residents, the Schumann residents, and the Hertz, this 7.83, and I don't
Yeah.
have all those numbers at my, but that all
Yeah.
proves it. So yeah, it's
Beautiful.
very interesting, the healing energy. So I encourage everyone to go watch that 4-minute video.
And
This
so
is
they can
Dr.
go to
Sam.
your website and then click on the link.
It's
You will send them the
yeah,
link. Once they
yes,
put in
it's
their
in there.
email, you'll send it directly to
Yes,
them. Awesome.
they'll get right to it. Yes, thank you for saying that. That's exactly right. They'll go right to it. Uh, so this is Dr. Sam and I in 2012, the first time I came. I love this photo because that is the largest pyramid on Earth. That simple looking little hill back there. So I want everyone watching this to look back and think, hey, I've seen some hills that look like that in Montana,
Yeah.
they're all over the world, all
Yes.
over. And
Yes.
and every state I've been as in has something. It's crazy. So
And they look
just be
like they're
thinking
just a part of the landscape.
exactly, but they're
And you're
not. They
saying
might
that he because he's Bosnian, but he lives in Texas,
he
and
did.
he visited here and he looked at that, and right away he had a feeling it was a pyramid. That's
Yes,
what
yeah,
started it, correct?
yes, that was thank you, and I'll tell that little story. 2005, he saw this from this called Belvedere Point, and he was doing some kind of survey for something, and he looks across and he sees that thing, and he's like, he knew it was this pyramid, and from any angle you can see their that sides, faces, and he did all the measurements, and pyramids have north, south, east, west cardinal points that they face. So there's a whole lot on that. This one is almost perfectly north facing. It's there's a lot of science on it. And I was just at a conference last week, 7th International Conference of the Bosnian Pyramids, that was here, and there were hundreds of statistics stated. So there's a lot of information out there. And you know what I will share that I didn't tell you about, Nancy, is the website for the foundation that also has a lot of the information from the conference, as well as Dr. Sam's YouTube. That's a good place to get that information. So I'll
Okay,
share those.
great. All right, great. Thank you.
Uh, my pleasure. So this is, I love to show people inside the tunnels. These are not actually from inside of the Pyramid of the Sun. They're about a mile away. And for probably, this was discovered in 2005. And let me go back to this. In 2005, Dr. Sam discovered them, and he spent a year proving that they were real. Had all these scientists come to Visico, people he'd known, people he didn't know. He brought them in, an Egyptologist came for 3 weeks, and they all came and helped him just take some tests and do tests with their equipment. And the overall unanimous agreement was it was a pyramid system. And they confirmed there were 5, and they were all connected with sacred geometry and all those things. Well, then a year later, he was on CNN, and he announced this to the world on CNN. And the next morning, this is the part that intrigued me the most. The show, every scientist that had been on the show was contacted privately and told to never speak of it again, or they wouldn't
Wow.
have a job in the scientific community.
Wow, I wonder
And
why. Wow. Because what
it's a
has been
big
hidden
site.
needs to be
Yeah.
revealed.
That's right. It's very interesting. So everything has tried to discredit this beautiful man who has given his last 20, almost 20 years to this project. So in terrible ways, and I won't get into that. But anyway, so all these different scientists were basically told to shut up, and some did and some didn't. Some lost their jobs, a lot lost their jobs. All kinds of things happened. And then he continued with the project. He started buying land. He started created a foundation to protect himself as well as the project.
Mm.
So it's been an ongoing thing since 2000. when they were discovered. So almost
And
20 years.
you
So this,
mentioned before we came on that he started purchasing up land because he does not have permission to be on the pyramid, or what was
yeah,
that? The
good point.
Bosnian, they're just very protective of that area.
Yes,
Is that
yes, that's
saying it
part of the way to
nicely?
say it. Yeah, that's saying it very nicely. He has purchased a lot of land on over here on the it's hard to tell. I think it's this side. Or it might have even been right here. But yes, he's had to purchase a lot of land to be able to excavate on it. And there
Okay.
is no even thought that this will ever be uncovered. It's
Yeah.
huge. It's
Yeah.
there's houses, trees, roads. There's a castle that was on the top. The government came in and built a wall that has nothing to do with the castle that was up there to keep him from being able to do anything. It's a protected
Okay.
site now. A lot of things have been
Oh, he
against
must
him.
be stirring a pot. Yeah. Well,
He's stirring a big pot.
those are beautiful. So, all right. So then the underground, those are
Yes,
tunnels that lead to the pyramid.
yes, yes.
Okay.
And he is, I was in them this morning. I want to say that they're at about 800 not kilometers, meters in. So you start with zero going into there. He basically started asking around town, asking children. He knew there had to be tunnels because of his work around the world. And he started asking children, is there any place you go and play, any holes or any caves? Oh, yeah, there's this one. So this was it. So he was able to buy the land and he's created an entrance point. And this is
Wow.
very close to the entrance. Yeah. So this is, I would just walk right by here this morning. This is in here's a big chamber, but they were covered in, Nancy. They were filled in with stones, all types of stones. And I don't have any of the, didn't even think to put some of the drywall, but they were literally covered back in. And his book on the Anastasia that I mentioned he had talks about his theory about what their involvement with this project was. The ones
Really?
from
Wow. Okay. Right. Thank
it
you.
involves teleporting. It
Oh
involves
my
teleporting.
gosh.
Yep, we'll see. But that's what the book says, his theory. So this is one of the tunnels. They were there's some of them you could walk in, and there's some that you can't. And as a
Okay.
volunteer, I got to help excavate them. You wear a hard hat, you push a wheelbarrow, and it's the funnest summer thing to do for anybody. Very cool. So this is one of the discoveries they made once they got in further into the chambers and the tunnels. This was a big chamber, and it had this megalithic stone in it. And these are orbs. I took this photo. It's not a watermarking on there. There are orbs, lots of orbs in here. And this is about the size of a king size bed. And it's called K2. And it's ceramic. It is not just a stone. It's a ceramic piece. And there's a lot of these in the tunnels. And see this thing that looks like a lead lid? They all have that kind of lid, which is kind of interesting.
So it's
And right in
man-made.
here in this it's man-made, yeah, or handmade, as
Okay.
Dr. Sam says, handmade. So they've got this lip, and then there's some type of crystalline egg in here, is the way it's been described to me. So who knows? But it's very
It's
large. You can sit
underneath.
around it.
They have kind of X-rated or LiDAR or whatever they use, and they picked up there's a crystalline structure underneath.
No, it's right here. It's inside it, not just under
Okay,
it.
so
It's
it's in
inside.
the okay. All right, I'm with you
It's in
now.
the ceramic right in here. And
Okay.
what I'm going to show that's underneath, though, this is that same stone. Here it is. This shows how big it is. That's about a fourth of it right there, maybe little more than a fourth. But it just shows. And what people do is put their hands up to it, and you definitely feel the energy coming off of it. It's very highly charged. But
Wow.
what's fascinating, Nancy, it's on a base. It's
Wow.
raised. And there's some type of polymer or glue or adhesive that holds this in place so that it's not going to be moved. It's not just a rock that's landed there. And what's fascinating is that it has a point. It's like a kind of like an egg. I'm not going to say exactly, but it definitely has a point. And they have done a lot of studies with the water levels, the blue lake underneath and the different chambers underneath.
Wow.
And in those studies, the water is flowing in the same direction as the point.
My, wow.
So
So
who
so
knows.
maybe it's an amplifier or something.
Yes, that's
Wow.
the word. Yes, that's exactly the word that they've used the last week. Yes,
Okay.
it's something. I don't know. I just find it also fascinating. So here's these are the underwater chambers, and these were discovered not that many years ago. I was here, and must have been in 2014. And I remember they were going down in these with galoshes on. Well, this is really deep. It's like 3 feet deep. So and it's ice cold water. They were walking in them. But you can see these are channels. They're not just natural, you
No.
know, they're carved. So what happened when they discovered all this water and what they call the blue lake with the blue
Wow, wow,
light
wow.
being,
Love
which
it.
love it, yes. Um, Dr. Emoto, they sent Dr. Emoto some of the water samples to Japan, and he's the one that freezes the water. And if you say love to the water, it has a different crystalline feature than if you say hate words of hate or play heavy metal music. So they sent him several different samples of the water, and it went through the mail system. You know, they mailed them, so they didn't just hand deliver them. So they probably weren't quite as fresh as when they left here.
Yeah.
But what he said, what they froze them and then looked at the with a microscope. It's called hadocrystal photography. His conclusion was, and he's been dead for quite a few years, so this was prior to that, of course. Hexagon crystal is what they're calling this right here. That's the blow up of the picture of the crystal that it formed. Shows the energetic tree formation. You can see it looks like evergreen trees. Beautiful. Water carries the information. The Bosnian tunnel water remembers the best electromagnetism, ultrasound levitation frequency, Schumann resonance, and high negative ionization. And we know negative ions are really good for us.
Yes,
So,
yes.
and this water, you can't, they don't ship it out of the country, but this is the water bottled. They go right into the source and they put it in water. It's never been in, metal pipes. It comes from the source. And it's very, very high frequency. So
Wow.
pretty exciting.
Wow.
I'll get you some, Nancy. I'll figure out how to
Okay.
get some too. That it just takes a
Beautiful.
little bit in your water. Yes. So that's the water. And
Wow.
yes, it's also fascinating. The Bovis, I'm not going to go into this much, but Bovis is another scale, another measure. And if someone is living, most homes are 6,500 Bovis units.
Mhm.
And one of the chambers is 40,000. And when they went
Wow.
into these tunnels, they had volunteers having miners and volunteers had to literally dig all these rocks out of them, massive stones. So they intentionally covered them up for some reason. So the Bovis is in some of the different chambers, and we call them there's meditation chambers and there's healing chambers. There's a lot of chambers in there, and they just so they were boring through these tunnels, and then it was like they just opened up into a big area that was like a room, which is similar to what they talk about in Turkey and some of the areas there.
Yes, yes, the
So
underground. People went underground. Yeah.
yeah. So we don't know all of it yet. It's being
Yeah.
revealed as you said. So
Yeah.
these are 40,000, 60,000 Bovis, and 10,000 is a really healthy place for us to be. A human can really thrive at 10,000. So when we go into these and feel this Bovis, it's just very strong, beautiful healing energy. But I'm not
And
making any
so
claims.
how does that feel to you? Like, you're just having a regular day or you've been traveling and all this stuff, and then you go in there. Do you notice it right away or do you notice it afterwards? And then how long does it linger?
Well, people have gone in with autism and come out without, or asthma and come out without. So
Now,
it
what
just
you're just
depends.
saying is a big deal.
I know. I know.
And does it maintain that or
I
we
don't
don't
want to
know
say.
long
I'm
term
not
yet?
sure. Yeah, I don't
Okay.
want to say. They
Wow.
probably do. I don't. Let me put it that way. I don't. There's actually, do you know what an auric reading is? Of course you do. When they read your aura, there's well, maybe there's a
Oh, the
machine that
aura
reads your
reading. Yeah.
aura. Yeah, aura reading.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
they have
Yeah.
that's being done up there. And I had one done the day. I'd already gone in once, but it was a brief visit. I arrived in June 3 months ago, almost 3 months ago, and I had it done when I got here. And so next week I'm going to have my last one done to compare the two because
Oh,
I know it will
wow.
be
Cool.
significantly better. Yeah. But you
Cool.
definitely feel it. People have I mentioned I had a very strong chiropractic treatment yesterday and I was feeling very uncomfortable. And I went in and I just felt like something was working on my back. It was crazy. It was like no one was in there, but it just felt like something was happening to work on my back. So,
Wow. So I
it-
bet you get to hear lots of stories of miracle stories, it sounds like.
yes, yes,
Wow.
absolutely.
Wow.
There was a woman in there laying down on a cot. I went into one of the tunnels and they're dark. there's the lights, but they can be very dark in the chambers, excuse me. And I looked over and it looked like there was a white, like a beach chair. And I kind of looked and I was trying not to disturb the person. They were real quiet. And it was a woman. She said she got permission to bring a cat in and she lays there an hour. She was laying there twice a day for an hour because she had some serious health issues.
Oh,
So
wow. Okay. All
kind
right.
of,
Thanks.
yeah. So people believe, they do it. So I've not met Dr. Davidovich, but I would love to meet him because he has proven some really fascinating things. And one thing is that not just the Bosnian pyramids, but Egypt are made of concrete, which is fascinating. They're not limestone. They're not natural stone. They are blocks. And I don't have any photos to show the blocks, but these are blocks, massive tons of blocks. And he proved it. Many scientists around the world, they sent the concrete samples around the world into different labs, and they all came back and said, where did you get this? This is the hardest concrete we've ever seen. And we all know that they said concrete gets harder as it gets older. So the
And if this is
harder
over
the older,
34,000 years old, that's some old
pretty darn
concrete.
hard. Yes,
Wow. Wow. Thanks
exactly.
for that tidbit.
Yeah.
Huh.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah. So if you Google Dr. Davidovich, you'll see that he's proven Egypt and Bosnia, but shh, it's a secret. Don't tell anybody. Um, they're made of concrete, and which is just
Wow.
fascinating. And I believe Peru. I've spent a lot of time in Peru. It's Sexy Woman, as well as I lived in the Sacred Valley. I was caught there for a year and a half in 2020, and was regularly visiting sites. And I think those are made of some type of formed stone, not carved. It's just totally,
Okay.
it,
Interesting.
yeah, it
Interesting.
just makes a lot more sense. This is the Pyramid of the Moon. I'm almost done. I have a few more. Pyramid of the Moon. And the Pyramid of the Moon faces the Pyramid of the Sun. So here's the moon, and the sun is on this side, like in the front. And in August, and I don't know the significance, but this is the end of August, and this shadow at a few more days covers the whole moon pyramid and makes it disappear.
Wow.
Phenomenal. And so we know that all these sites in Peru and in Mexico, and certainly here, the solstice has different light shows, is what we like to call it. And there's just different things that have been proven. South Africa, did you ever meet Dean Laprini in South
Mm,
Africa?
no.
Okay, I met him through Michael, but Dean has proven all kinds of things about light that the whole country is just affected by it. So, we don't exactly know. We just know it's hard to reproduce this. How can this massive thing, the pyramid of the sun, once a year cover the pyramid of the moon?
Wow.
It's
Wow.
crazy. Yes. Here's just a beautiful rainbow. I was saying earlier, I had climbed up this is at the very top of the pyramid of the sun, which is a very strenuous climb. There's a base you can climb up, which is, it must be 1,000 steps. It's really not, but it's really, it's a lot. And then the same day I did that, I did this as well at the very top. And it's a steep path. There's no, the government owns that land and they don't have any type of stairs or any type of, used to be a rope, but they've taken that down to make it more difficult. But climbing up in the rain, and then I was very kind of unhappy because it was cold and rainy, and I committed to do this. So I was under my breath, not very happy with myself that I'd made this decision. And this was the gift that I got to experience. So beautiful rainbow.
Beautiful.
And
The
this is
gift
the
at the
valley
end, the rainbow at the end.
at the end. And
Yeah.
I don't know if we've still got a rainbow. Nope, it's gone. The one behind me. So these are a few of the artifacts that were found in the tunnels and around the area. This is a rune stone, and there's several of these in the tunnels. This one is still there. You walk by it, and there are 20 different runes on the face of it.
And how big is that?
It's, oh boy, maybe 3.5 feet
Oh, oh,
meter.
it's large.
I
Okay.
mean, it's big. Yeah, it's not, no, it's definitely big. It's at
And it
least
has a
3 feet.
lot of carved languaging or symbology in it.
Yes, yes. And the thing about the rune language is if the pyramids are 34 years old, the tunnels have proven to be close to that. They're not as old, but they're very old, and with the organic material, they've been able to do the testing. So what they've said is that there are many different variations of the runes. There's the Viking runes, and I don't know all the different names for them, but I know Vikings are credited with them. But that wasn't anywhere near 34,000 years ago. So what the words that have been come up with from several different sources the best case, excuse me, not the best, the way they think what this says. And I want to get my screens. Can you, am I making a mess on the screen or can you?
I don't think anyone really cares.
Okay, all right, let me read this. Okay, I put it in here. The gateway is closed. This is what it says. We are at a standstill. We will have to act as warriors to defend and conquer until we can move again through the Stargate.
Wow. And so they're saying there's a Stargate, and they're saying the Stargate closed. They were basically going to be on their own, and they were going to have to wait until the Stargate opened again
And- Or leave is the feeling we had. It's like the star. Oh, it's already
to be able
closed.
to
The
leave. And it
gateway
was
is closed.
34,000 years old. Holy,
Yeah,
oh my
yeah.
gosh. Yeah.
So ask the
Wow.
the blue light beings what they think of that.
Well, that's what they told me. They said this was a blue light beam, a cluster of vortexes and ley lines. It's definitely a power point that was pre-pyramid. It's a Stargate, the place of the gods. Yeah.
And you didn't know any of this till just
No,
now,
I
right?
did not know any of this. Wow.
Fascinating.
Wow.
Fascinating.
Wow. Wow. All right, you intuitive
Yeah.
archaeologist out there, is this new news to you? Or do you resonate with it? Do you have questions about it? Because I know Adele's going to be following the comments after it comes out, and she will personally be able to respond to some of your questions. But I love it. I just love it.
That you can see why I was called here. I'd been here before and I just wanted to come live here when I could experience it. And now
Yeah.
the 3 times I've lived here, I one summer in 18, I volunteered and I spent almost every day in the tunnels, a couple of hours a day. Very cold. I didn't mention that. It's very cold in there. It's 53 degrees. But it's funny how your body just wants to be there. I feel like you can feel the heartbeat of Mother Earth.
Oh,
You
beautiful.
just feel
Beautiful.
it. And you said something, Nancy, there I have a recording of the sound inside the tunnels.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Frequencies of sound. Um,
Yeah.
and lots of blue water, almost like the size of an ocean is what it kind of feels like. But the frequency of sounds, I wasn't sure what that meant. So
You know what? Let me finish this. And if you're talking, I might be able to find it real fast and play it. I just saw it recently. And it's just like a 2 minute and it's a very not natural sound to our ears.
we
It's
can
like,
try it. I'm not sure if a video will
oh,
play here. Can we
it's a
include the
it's a
link to the
yes,
video
yeah,
in the? All
yes,
right, we'll include the link for
yes,
everyone so
yeah.
that you
It's an
can see
audio.
it.
It's not a video, it's an audio. But yes, I can
Audio.
include the link. Yes. I'll get that to
And
you.
then I wrote, so Dr. Sam, I'm going to call him Dr. Sam. It talks about waves of intergalactic communication. So enhanced intergalactic communication that did not come from star beings, that came from apparently what Dr. Sam said. So,
And he says other hands, these are handmade, not man-made,
okay.
and probably with levitation.
Wow.
Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah,
There's
I
so
just
much.
experienced levitation, and it messes with your head. I only came off the ground maybe a half an inch, but it messes with your head for sure. So what are we looking at here?
Okay. This is something I just saw last week during the conference. This is Visico. Can you see my pointer right in the
Yes.
middle? Okay, that's the little village of Visico. It's a small town. It's a town, but it's not big. Here's Sarajevo right here. So that's 30 minutes away. Look at all these ley lines. The hot spot is right here.
Wow. Wow.
So it's not a good picture. It was taken from a banner, but pretty
Wow.
fascinating that all these are coming right into this point.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
And then let me show this real quick. These were found in the tunnels or in the area. Ancient, what looked like shoe forms, maybe. Who knows what they were, but kind of fascinating that they look like baby mom and dad shoes. So that's all the videos I have. So I'm going to stop share or the pictures. Um,
Yeah. Beautiful. Wow. 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 Well, I know I'm super excited, and I know even though I feel like my traveling days are over, I can definitely feel a pull. But do you have any thoughts about taking other groups over there? And if so, could they just write to you through adelegood.com and just ask to be on your waiting list?
Yes. In fact, I can even put that on my website. I had it up there and it's not right now. I'm doing another solstice journey next June, but I don't do huge groups. I don't want 40 people. So
Yeah.
it's I just won't. I did 6, 7 this last time, which was perfect. So but yes, and it's my favorite time to be here is in the summer. It gets very cold here in Bosnia during the winter. So I'm not here after I'm leaving next week. And I don't want to be here in December. I'm a sun worshiper. It's gorgeous in the summer, and right now we're having beautiful fall days most of
Wow.
the time. But
Wow.
yes, absolutely.
Wow.
And I'm also happy to share with people how to do it. You know, they can look at my schedule and figure out, or my itinerary, and kind of figure out how to do it on their own because it's
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
beautiful,
So do
safe
they have a
country.
lot of tourism that comes through there?
They have 500 volunteers every summer in the tunnels. Just
Oh,
in the
wow.
summer, yeah, 500 different people from all over the world. A lot of Australians come here, which is kind of fun. Um,
Yeah.
but yes, there's hundreds. I was up there this morning. The parking is packed. There's a lot
Oh,
of people
wow.
here.
Wow.
So it's
And
gotten a lot of attention. Oh,
and
and
then
you
how
asked me
about the
to,
people in is it Visico you said, or
Mhm.
uh, the town? Do they believe that it's a pyramid?
Some do, some don't.
Okay.
It's very interesting. It's kind of torn. I was at a Sufi house last week, and the Sufi master's father said they knew of pyramids here. They just knew they were all here. In fact, their house is between the moon, the sun, and I can't remember if it's the dragon or Mother Earth, but it's
Mhm.
right in the middle of
Yeah.
a three,
Yeah.
it's very sacred geometrically placed.
Yeah.
So
Let me just
they
ask another
definitely.
question. So often when I visit these high power points, like I was just in the southwest of the United States in Utah, as I come home, I'm still integrating, but I get super excited because I want to know what changes I'm going to experience inside of myself. So when you leave Bosnia and you return home to your regular environment you're familiar with, what changes do you notice that happens on the inside of you?
Well, first of all, I don't return home.
Oh,
I'm going my way to Africa next week for 3 months, so
oh,
I only go to the States occasionally, but anyway,
okay.
10 years, I don't have a home anymore, so this is my home right now. But when I leave, like here, I always feel younger and more vibrant and more alive, always. It's just the
You
energy here
did,
that
and you do look great for 68.
thank
You
you.
look
Thank
fantastic. Yeah,
thank
yeah,
you. It's part of the secret. It is part of it.
yeah.
And I feel great, so that's the part that really
And
matters,
you
how you
did use the
feel.
term before we came on, of the fountain of youth.
Yeah, I think that's what these are. I think these sacred sites are fountains of youth because they're high energy that we're tapped into the what's under the earth and what's out there. And I didn't mention the energy beam that comes out of this big pyramid that's proven.
Oh, well, it
But
shows
anyway,
right here. They told me there's a blue light beam and it was
yeah,
huge and it was straight in. So I don't know if it comes underneath and goes up or if it comes up and comes down, but it is a
it
PowerPoint.
it yeah, and it gets stronger when you go out.
Okay. Wow.
So I'm not sure what that means. And there's been proof recently with some of the scientists that it's actually more of a DNA type. It's like two beams.
Like helixes. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
Yeah. There was talk about that last week at the conference. So pretty
Wow.
fascinating place.
Wow.
Um,
Wow.
but,
Wow.
but yeah, I just feel like when I'm here, I'm usually quieter, I'm more introspective. Like I'm living in a house by myself, so I've been able to work on my business and spend time relaxing. And I go to bed early. I wake up really early, and I come out on this patio and watch the sunrise right there. I watch the sunset over there, and it's just a beautiful way to live. But yes, you're right. When we leave these places, and there's a little bit of a integration, to get back. So where I'm going to be sitting on the beach for a while and just really
Yeah.
working on some more
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
But this is,
Well,
yeah,
Adele, I know that we could talk forever, and I encourage everybody to visit her website because she's really into stone. She's into the stone people. She has amazing pictures on her website. I just asked her, could we just kind of narrow this down to Bosnia? And as you can already tell, just this one little bit of Bosnia and the pyramids. She is filled with a wealth of information. I have a feeling we could talk for the next 6 hours and she would still be filling in more detail. You can reach
Mm.
her through her website. However, this isn't the only place she's been. It's not the only place she's investigated. So I hope, Adele, that you will continue to share your stories and come back another time because I'd love to talk about stone people. Then I know some people do see them, especially South Africa. There's just a lot of images in the stones there. I've never been one that's been able to see them. But I read on your site, you say once you see them, you can't stop seeing them. So anyway, I'm super excited. Is there
Uh,
any last thing that you would like to say before we finish up our talk?
well, I want to say thank you. And I love that the blue lake here, there's just a blue energy here. You can see it. I don't, you can't see it in my screen, but when you said that, and I love that I've had several messages from the blue ones. One was in Bosnia, one was in like Titicaca years ago. And so I love that we've combined. When I first
Mhm.
saw you, Nancy, it was through Pam Gregory. I had to start following you. So, I'm just honored to be on your show.
Oh, thanks.
And I feel like we can really share some information that will
Yes,
help in this whole process of evolution
exactly.
and
Exactly.
as we transform into the new earth or whatever is coming. So
Oh,
thank you so, so much.
you're welcome. Well, I can definitely feel the vibe of where you are. I hope everybody who is tuning in can experience a little bit as well. But anyway, just put your questions in there. I'm sure she can answer them. And her website again is adelegood.com. And thanks again. And we will have you back again sometime. All right. Take care.
Awesome. Thank you, Nancy. Bye-bye.
Bye.